And again, we're interested in learning how the independent variable affects the dependent variable. Final type of variable or control variables. These are other variables that could affect your dependent variable. Other variables that could affect your dependent variable. And we want to hold these constant so you can determine the effect of only the independent variable on the dependent variable. I want to hold these constants so you can determine the effect of only the independent variable on the dependent variable. Great. So let's take a minute here to brainstorm different types of controlled variables in this experiment. So we know our independent variable is the change in the amount of fertilizer. So since this the change in amount of something, we know this is going to be a numerical independent variable. We also know our dependent variable is the rate of growth of this plant, how quickly it can grow. We're going to measure that in inches per week. But now we need to think about what else causes plants to grow, and what else do we have to keep an eye out and make sure it stays the same. So take a minute to think of an answer. Feel free to pause this video right here. Okay, so let's think through some things to help plants grow. So one other thing that might help plants grow is the amount of water that they get. And so we want to make sure, if we're trying to measure the effect of fertilizer, that we keep the amount of water all the plants are getting the same. We want to give one plant more water than another because that will mess up our results when we're trying to see the amount of fertilizer. So we want to keep the amount of water the same. We also probably want to keep the amount of sunlight amount of water same. We don't want to expose some plants to more sunlight than others, so we're not going to be able to really see the effect of just the fertilizer. We also want to keep the type of plant the same. Different plants grow at different speeds and might respond to the fertilizer in different ways. So let's just use the same plant for each one. And also let's keep the type of soil the plants are growing in the same, and the type and size of the pot. There might be other variables that you can think of too that we also need to keep an eye on and control. But these are a good set of examples. Okay. So next we're going to go into this group practice. So if you're working on this with a partner or in a group in class, feel free to work with someone else on this and work together. If you're working on this by yourself at home, you can follow along with me. I'll work through it with you right now. So for this group practice exercise, we're going to consider two different experiments. This first one is we're comparing how different materials affect how long it takes for a parachute to hit the ground. The second one is how does the concentration of Kool-Aid in water affect the boiling point? All right, so let's do one experiment at a time. So in this parachute example, we've got to find our independent variable. So what is the independent variable in this situation? Well, we've got to look at what is changing. So in this situation, it appears that what is changing is the different materials being used for the parachute. So what is the independent variable? The type of material being can use. So in this situation, we're not changing the amount of something or the number of something, we're changing the type of material. So this is going to be a category type, category